Hello and welcome to another episode of the Alter Your Health podcast, your source of information and inspiration to promote the holistic transformation of your health and the health of our planet. My name is Dr. Benjamin Alter.
And my name is Dr. Susanna Alter, and we're both naturopathic doctors who support individuals in reversing disease and reclaiming optimal health through whole food plant-based nutrition and mind-body medicine. And we want to remind all of you that coming up in about a week and a half, starting February 24th, is our next whole food plant-based challenge. This challenge is special because we're going to be focusing a little bit more on healing metabolism, what that even means, and the positive byproducts that can come from healing your metabolism, such as losing weight, lowering blood pressure, lowering triglycerides, cholesterol, blood sugar. So it's going to be a really awesome whole food plant-based challenge. And if you're interested in joining us, you can head over to our website,
alter.health/WFPB-challenge. And if you're in, by the way, this is taking place in our Facebook group, which is called Plant-Based and Stress-Free. That's where we do a lot of content, including these live podcast recordings where we're talking on topics that you want to hear. So if you are interested in kind of, digging into a topic, getting your questions answered, having to do with holistic health, both in body and mind, then head on into the Plant-Based and Stress-Free Facebook group to be part of the community and also to take part in this whole food plant-based challenge coming up in 10 days. Now on to our episode for today, which is by the request of the group members in Plant-Based and Stress-Free, inflammation. That is quite a topic, and I was actually scrolling through the 172 whatever episodes thinking, how in the heck have we not just tackled this topic head on in any one podcast episode? Sure, we've talked about it probably a number of times here and there a little bit, but we really intend for this episode to get to the root of the issue, to get to the deep understanding of really what's going on in your body on the topic of inflammation.
Yeah, and I think this is a really big and misunderstood topic in the world of health and natural health. So many people feel like their symptoms are, they're plagued by inflammation. And how do I get rid of this pervasive inflammation?
Well, I think that a lot of people go to the doctor and say, oh, this symptom is caused by inflammation. Oh, that disease is caused by inflammation. Oh, we know that inflammation is a driving force of Alzheimer's disease, of dementia, of heart disease, whatever it might be. Yes, that's true. But what's underneath inflammation? What's driving inflammation? So inflammation in and of itself is absolutely not a root cause. It is really a symptom. So in this episode, we're going to talk about all of the potential root causes, because there are many, that can create inflammation in the body.
Yeah, but first, I think it's really important for us to address why the body responds to things with the inflammatory response.
Totally. Because we know that the body is self-healing, always wise, so it's never leading us astray. So yeah, what is going on? What's the body trying to do? What's inflammation trying to tell us?
Right. Well, so it's really the body's innate wisdom trying to bring all the resources, all of the white blood cells, the nutrition to whatever part of your body is needing help at that time. So let's just give an example. Let's say you stub your toe really badly and it starts swelling up. It gets red, it gets painful, it gets hot. Those are all the kind of the four major symptoms of inflammation. But really
redness, pain, swelling,
and heat.
And heat, of course.
But really what's happening in your body is that your immune system is activated. And like I said before, it's sending the white blood cells, it's sending whatever is needed to help your body to heal from that injury. And it might be painful for some amount of time. It might, cause you to rest your toe. It might
Right. Well,
cause you to get a little upset. And this is all part of your body's wisdom. It's your body telling you, okay, now it's time to rest and protect this part of your body.
We have talked about pain in other episodes and how acute pain is really part of the inflammatory process and sending us the message, hey, be careful, sit down, rest, relax, take it easy. And then, things can become chronic. And really, when we're talking about inflammation, inflammation is always really acute. We're always inflaming ourselves. When we have inflammation, it's because we are constantly inflaming ourselves. And our body is not just out of nowhere creating inflammation. There's a reason. And inflammation can lead to chronic pain. And that's kind of a whole sticky, slippery slope topic that we're not going to get into the pain aspect of inflammation in this conversation. But we have recorded podcast episodes on that topic. In today's topic, are we ready to, I'm always like the one that's trying to move the conversation get to the point. Can we get to the point?
Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready to, all right, so we set the stage. Inflammation is the body's wisdom. It's part of the immune system. Really, we can kind of tie it in with that. And it serves a purpose. So the main causes of inflammation can be really simplified to a few things. And you could dive in and dig deep and kind of create subsets of different categories of the causes of inflammation, but it really has to do with pathogens like an infectious process, bacteria, virus, fungi, or just disharmony, imbalance, dysbiosis, if you will, of the microbiome or the organisms within our system. So that's
parasite.
Parasite. Of course, parasite can cause inflammation.
Yes.
What else?
What else? We mentioned it earlier, and that's injury. So the example when you stub your toe, or let's say you hit your head, that bump you get on your head.
Punched in the stomach, or you have surgery. That is going to create inflammation, and you're grateful for that inflammatory response because, like we kind of said, it's part of the healing process. So injury or mechanical trauma, infectious agent, bacteria, virus, parasite, fungi that are fungus or whatever. And what else?
And then toxins.
Yeah.
Which is kind of similar in a way to trauma because we can consider it as a chemical trauma. But but I'm going to put it in a whole separate category today because we are so inundated with toxins in our current daily life, just living in this more toxic world.
Yeah, and to really, I think what's coming to mind for me to just really simplify the understanding of what toxins are, because we know that there are somewhere near 100,000 different toxins that are regularly used in the, just regularly used in household items and food processing and just commercialization of stuff, making stuff. We're exposed to a lot of foreign substances. And really, in my mind, the definition of toxin, or actually the more appropriate word is actually a toxicant. But anyways, that's kind of like a, fine detail. But a toxin is anything that is not supposed to be in our body, that gets into our body. And there are a lot of things that are getting into our bodies that are really not designed to be processed and metabolized by our bodies. The byproduct of that is inflammation or toxification or stress to the system. So, to just understand it very generally, anything that the body is not designed to take in is potentially toxic and inflammatory. So what that really means is anything that's not real food, anything that's not like a real, whole, natural food.
Or pure water or pure air, or, those are the other things we put into our bodies.
Right. The things that come in the water supply, breathe in the air, in our environment. Yeah. And our bodies are really capable of dealing with a small degree of toxicants because we're always exposed to things in our air, in our water, and to some degree in our food. And our bodies are able to tolerate and detoxify and anti-inflammatorily react. Is that a word? Anti-inflammatorily react to a small degree of toxicants, but then we get up to a threshold where it just stresses the system, and then we just do it every day, 3 times a day, 5 times a day, however many times we put things into our mouth, or we take a breath, or we take a sip of water. We're continuing to essentially inflame ourselves. That's really what's going on.
Right. So if we consider that these are the 3 main causes of inflammation and what people would call chronic inflammation, then we can see that the solution in reducing inflammation is not going to be just simply taking tons and tons of turmeric, or taking tons and tons of bromelain, or taking
Advil.
or Advil or aspirin, because none of these things address the underlying cause. They can be helpful band-aids at times when, pain is just too much.
Totally. When I go out and kind of overdo it, overexert myself, bump my knee or something, I'll put extra turmeric and ginger in the smoothie. And I'm recognizing that additional anti-inflammatory boost is going to support my body in adequately responding and reacting and healing to that acute trauma. But it's not, a Band-Aid for those chronic insults. So we're going to share, I don't know when, but at some point we're going to share our favorite anti-inflammatory foods. But it's first important to really understand and grasp that the first step of living an anti-inflammatory healing lifestyle, the first step of supporting your body in its ability to heal itself, is to be mindful of those inflammatory agents or practices or drinks or air that is coming into our body, and mitigate that to the best of our ability. And really what that means is eating a whole food plant-based diet, to put it real simply. And if that is totally new to you, we've got plenty of resources at alter.health/podcast, a lot of episodes diving into an optimally healing whole food plant-based diet. And then being, mindful of the air that we're breathing, having an air filter in our home, probably that would help, and getting out in nature and breathing some fresh air as best we can. And then similarly with our water. And if we think of things that that are just conventionally consumed, alcohol, soft drinks, soda, pop, whatever, energy drinks, junk food that have a lot of preservatives and processed oils and
processed meats that are filled with bioaccumulated toxins.
Any meat for that matter, because meat has more toxins than plants. Even, and we're not going to talk about those plant toxins, quote unquote, the lectins and the phytates and the oxalates, which actually are immune stimulating and anti-inflammatory if we have a healthy system. That's another tangent.
We have a whole podcast episode on that topic.
Yeah.
But also, animal products, they bring in more pathogens into the system as well.
Exactly.
So, yes, a whole food plant-based diet. But the reason why a whole food plant-based diet really aids in living an anti-inflammatory lifestyle is because it does address the root cause. It addresses the root causes of pathogens and also toxins, because a whole food plant-based diet boosts your immune system so much. When you're fueling your body with these hypernutrient plant foods, you're giving your body all the vitamins and minerals it needs to really boost the immune system and take care of these chronic pathogens that might be plaguing your system.
And also supporting your liver in dealing with the, never-ending stream of toxins that are, regardless of how clean of a life we're living, we are exposed to toxins. And if you didn't know it already, your body actually creates toxins. So we need to have the vitamins, the minerals, the micronutrients that come in plants, and only plants, that fuel the metabolic processes, the detoxification processes that naturally take place to mitigate inflammation and toxification in the body.
Exactly.
We need to talk for a second, or probably much more than a second, about omega 3s, omega 6s, that whole conversation, because we know that, oh, fish oil, DHA, omega 3 fatty acids, those are anti inflammatory, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They are. And really what it comes down to, because I think a lot of people just think, oh, the more fish oil, the better, and don't really
Or
understand
the more
what's
omega 3s in the system, the better. Yeah.
yeah. And what's left out is really what that even means, like what these oils even do for you. And really the omega 3, the omega 6 fatty acids, they actually make up your cellular membranes. And omega 6, it's true that it does lead to more inflammation in the body. It leads to
Arachidonic
thank you,
acid.
arachidonic acid.
So these fatty acids that are around our cells primarily get broken down always, and the omega-6 fatty acids, which are the pro-inflammatory fatty acids, get broken down into arachidonic acid, and then these pro-inflammatory prostaglandins, they're called, which support the inflammatory branch of the immune system. And then there's the anti-inflammatory branch of the immune system, which is really promoted by the breakdown of omega-3 fatty acids. And a lot of people are just dousing themselves in DHA and fish oil, thinking, okay, more is better, more is better. But really, we need to really drive home the point that what's so much more important than the quantity of omega-3 fatty acids in your diet is the ratio of omega-3s to omega-6 fatty acids. So someone eating a whole food plant-based diet, which is, by the way, just naturally lower in fat, because fat is most abundant in animal products. So when you're eating a whole food plant-based diet, you naturally are intaking a low amount of fat. So your necessity of omega-3s, the quantity of omega-3s that you need in your diet, actually is lower than if you were eating a standard American diet that's rich in animal products that have a lot of omega-6 fatty acids in them.
Right. I think the statistic right now for people eating a standard American diet is that the ratio between omega 6 and omega 3 fatty acids is 16 to 1.
Oh, I'm so glad that you have these stats, because I have no idea.
Yes, which is way, 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 way too, unbalanced.
16 to 1.
16 to 1.
The pro-inflammatory to the anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, and this is because omega 6 fatty acids are most prevalent in animal foods, mainly, chicken and turkey, the kind of meats that we think are healthy.
Yeah, there's definitely studies that say, oh, well, grass-fed beef has more omega-3s, and wild caught salmon, more omega-3s. Well, let me just tell you that, yes, there's more omega-3s than the conventional counterpart, but you're still driving a pro-inflammatory process due to the fact that you're also intaking a lot of omega-6s with that grass-fed beef patty, whatever it is.
Exactly. And then the other main source of omega-6 fatty acids in a standard American diet are all those processed oils.
Totally.
So when you're eating your French fries or your donuts, you're getting big whopping amounts
or any other,
Yeah, or even just your
olive oil,
canola
oil, just vegetable oil, soybean oil. All these oils have a lot of omega-6 fatty acids. Some of them, they're all different. But the fact of the matter is that what's really important is that ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s. And also, a lot of people say, oh, well, the omega-3s that are found in flax seeds and chia seeds and hemp seeds and walnuts and these sort of things, they're incomplete, and they need to be elongated into DHA, which is the active anti-inflammatory compound in our body, which is important for brain health, cognitive function, all that kind of stuff. But that elongation process naturally takes place, and it takes place more efficiently if we have less omega-6 in the body. So put another way, the more whole food plant-based you eat, the less oils and omega-6 fatty acids you consume, the more efficient your body is in creating highly potent anti-inflammatory compounds from your flax seeds, from your chia seeds.
Yeah, so, if we boil this down to what we typically suggest for omega-3 intake, It comes down to eating
A whole food plant-based
a
diet,
whole food plant-based diet.
taking in a tablespoon to 2 of flax seeds and or chia seeds and
Yeah.
or hemp seeds and or walnuts.
Yeah, and if it's really a concern, if you have a family history of Alzheimer's or, heart disease and your doctor is saying you should take a supplement of omega-3 fatty acids, we would recommend algae oil because there's fewer toxins in algae oil than in fish oil. Even though the companies say, we have strict standards, we make sure we take out all the toxins, it's just there's simply put, there are more toxins in fish oil than there are in algae oil.
Fish get their omega-3s from algae, so we can also get our omega-3s from algae or flax. And by the way, I did say flax, chia, hemp, walnuts. Those are good sources of omega-3s, but really it's flax is the best and chia is a close second. And then hemp and walnuts don't rely on those as being your go-to sources of omega-3s. Flax and chia is really where it's at.
Yeah.
And they should be fresh ground flax and chia, or if you have a Vitamix or high-speed blender, that will do. If you put those in your smoothie, that's what I do. But if you do ground, this is a whole nother tangent, but when you grind your flax seeds and chia seeds, you want to do it yourself. You don't want to get the flax meal because that's potentially rancid because it's been sitting on the shelf in the grocery store for months or years. And then you want to fresh grind your flax or chia seeds and store those ground flax and chia seeds in the refrigerator or freezer where they can have the longest shelf life.
My favorite way of taking in flax seeds is ground up on a bowl of oatmeal.
Yeah, and I like a spoonful or two of, usually I do a spoonful of flax, a spoonful of chia in my morning smoothie.
Yes, but it's also good on salads. It's good in soups.
Yeah.
Just sprinkle a little here and there.
So that kind of brings us into our favorite anti-inflammatory foods. Is it okay to go there?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So flax is definitely on the list. It made the cut because of that anti-inflammatory omega-3 content in the flax seeds and the chia seeds. But I think flax is like at the top of the, it beats out chia if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
So what else is on the list for you, Dr. Susanna? On the hot seat.
You lead this one.
All right. Well, let's see. Potatoes. Potatoes are one of my favorite anti-inflammatory foods. And when I say potatoes, I mean a whole baked or steamed potato with the skin. Just eat it, not mashed with cream and butter, of course, because that messes up our metabolism a little bit. And the reason why potatoes are so great and anti-inflammatory is because they're actually alkalinizing to the body to a small degree. They kind of push our body in that direction, which supports the immune system. They're rich in potassium and lysine and all of these, minerals and amino acids that support the immune system and proper function. Yeah. Okay, so that was mine. What's yours?
No, you keep going. I like where you're going with this.
All right, beans. Beans, the magical fruit. No, the magical legume. The more you eat, the more you go
consume.
Boom. So beans. Yeah, beans are great because they are also alkalinizing to the body. They're a great source of fiber that diversifies your microbiome, and that healthy, diverse microbiome is really potent potent protector for your immune system and protects you against any foreign pathogens that might come into your mouth in the form of, things slip in, right? Those little bacteria, they're going to get in. And if we have a really resilient microbiome, diverse microbiome, we're going to be resilient to the effects that those pathogens might otherwise have.
Yep. Okay, I'll go next.
Okay.
Vegetables.
Come on.
What's your vegetables?
Pick a vegetable.
Really?
Yeah.
Do I have to?
You have to.
They're all anti-inflammatory.
I know, but what's your favorite and why?
Well, let's do broccoli.
Okay.
Because we eat a lot of broccoli. And Broccoli, in addition to all vegetables, also leafy greens, they contain all of those micronutrients that your immune system really needs to tackle all those pathogens and all those phytochemicals that your detoxification pathways need to function properly.
And broccoli and our brassicas, cruciferous vegetables, have that very well-known sulforaphane compound, which supports liver, cognitive function,
and is extremely detoxifying.
and anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
What about
and then,
fruit?
Citrus, that vitamin C. That vitamin C and those bioflavonoids, oh man, they really do the trick for your immune system, which, if you didn't catch the drift, you guys, your immune system, your detoxification pathways, that's all part of this built-in anti-inflammatory process. And we can't reduce inflammation without also boosting our immune system, supporting detoxification. It's all this perfect, harmonious process.
Yes.
And then there's the very well-known herbs and spices, which are really the highest source of anti-inflammatory phytochemicals, phytonutrients.
Yeah, so really cooking with lots of herbs and spices should be a very regular practice in your kitchen. We like to consume ginger every day, garlic every day, and all those green herbs like the herbs de Provence or the Italian herbs.
Oregano, thyme, rosemary, basil. Those things are antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory.
Exactly. And then all the warming spices too, cayenne, and we already said ginger, but cinnamon,
turmeric,
and cardamom. And
did you
turmeric.
not say turmeric
I forgot
yet?
Turmeric. Yes.
And by the way, all of these herbs and spices, such as turmeric, curcumin, that's gotten really popular in the last decade. I'm pretty sure curcumin is going out of style, and for good reason, because turmeric in its whole entire form is so much more powerful of a anti-inflammatory healing food, because it's got all of the other curcuminoids and phytonutrients and vitamins and minerals and stuff that synergistically promote anti-inflammatory immune boosting effects in the body. It's not one thing that we can take out. It's not the resveratrol from the grapes. It's not the vitamin C from the orange. It's not the quercetin from the onion or anything like that. All of these things synergistically support your body in reducing inflammation, boosting the immune system.
Yeah, so if you haven't picked up on it yet, really what we've been describing as our favorite anti-inflammatory foods are all the foods that make up a whole food plant-based diet. Because we're not about picking out those supplements or herbs that, have that anti-inflammatory response. What we're suggesting and talking about is creating a rock solid foundation of health with a whole food plant-based diet to support your body in doing what it does best, which is to self-regulate inflammation and to heal itself.
Amen. Less supplements, more real whole foods. That is absolutely one point that we're driving home. Also, just to wrap things up here, because we are approaching that time, the main takeaway, just to really reiterate it, is to take away all of those pro-inflammatory agents that might be coming into your body. Mainly in the form of food. That's really where we have the greatest control, usually, like I said, a few times a day. Don't eat anything that's not real food. And when we're eating animal products, we are eating hormones, we're eating antibiotics, we're eating the toxicants that get bioaccumulated in the food chain. We don't want to get that stuff into our system, not to mention the high degree of omega-6 fatty acids. So that's, there's so many reasons to avoid animal products for your health and the health of the planet. But that's really, in a nutshell, why animal products promote inflammation.
Yes. Okay, so wrapping up now. If you've been inspired by this conversation, if you'd like to take this conversation on a deeper level, one-on-one with myself or with Dr. Benjamin, we invite you to head over to our website and schedule a free complimentary 15-minute consultation where we can explore the root causes that are contributing to your symptoms and discomfort. And again, one more reminder to join our 8-day Whole Food Plant-Based Challenge. It's totally free. And to do so, just go over to our website and register and join our Facebook group. And we'd love to see you there.
Totally. So the link is alter.health, www.alter.health/WFPB. That's Whole Food Plant-Based -challenge. So on that note, we send you off into your life, into the rest of your day, hoping that you consume nourishing foods, breathe nourishing clean air, drink purified water, and think healthy, productive, detoxifying, immune boosting, anti-inflammatory thoughts.
Yes.
So that's all for today. We look forward to seeing you next time here on the Alter Your Health podcast.
Bye for now.